we've got breaking news. LeBron is a Laker.
Los Angeles, this one's for you. Okay, Rex, I don't think LeBron's going to be saying that if he wins a championship with the Lakers. What do you think he'd say if he actually won a championship with the Lakers?
When he wins one, it's going to be, told you, I could do it.
I would love to see that. All right, let's run the fast break. And thanks for joining us on the Fast Break. Chill Rob here, along with Rex Castillo. Rex, I just want to say thank goodness for LeBron. When I finally heard this signing, I said, thank goodness. Free agency was starting to get boring. Paul George went back to where he came from. Mild surprise, I guess. Kevin Durant went back to the Warriors. No surprise. No movement on Kawhi Leonard. Chris Paul's tweeting, let's run it back. No, I don't want last year ran back. I want to see some movement. I want to see some excitement in the NBA. And finally, this injected a little bit of energy going to next season for me. That was my initial impression, initial reaction.
As a Houston native, so happy we were able to run it back. I was really nervous about CP3. However, with LeBron going west, I was completely surprised. He's had so much success in the Eastern Conference, which, let's be honest, it's the weaker of the two. And I thought, by going west, that's LeBron really stepping up to the challenge and also going to a place where now he's expected to win. It was always a nice surprise when he helped Miami. It was a great surprise when he finally helped Cleveland win. LA, there are 16 banners up there. Step up. He's got some building to do.
This is very much a work in progress. I might say this is the biggest gamble of his career, right? He got drafted to Cleveland, obviously no choice there. Then he went to a stacked Miami team. Right. We knew they were going to be successful. Then when he went back to Cleveland, at least he had an established Kyrie Irving who was already dropping 20 points a game on his own. We knew Kevin Love was coming back, an established 2010 guy, all-NBA team player. Now he's come to a team that's very much under construction, especially with Kawhi being up in the air. And if they do get Kawhi, they're going to have to gut this young core. Ingram, Kuzma, Ball, you'd figure if they trade for Kawhi, at least two of them would be shipped out of town along with future assets, two first rounders, something along those lines. If his end goal is a championship, this is not the path of least resistance.
Absolutely not. And then LeBron, as much as respect as he's already demanded, I think he deserves even more for doing this. You're right. And we actually don't even know when we come to the first game if this roster is going to be the same. Because as you brought up, is that Lonzo, Kuzma, and Brandon are all guys who a lot of teams want, especially because they're still young and on the cusp of entering their prime. Gosh, that's a lot of faith in Magic Johnson. And gosh, Magic Johnson can sell anything, can he? So with LeBron, he obviously makes this team instantly better. The interesting thing, though, I know that I agree with you that free agency was getting a little boring, but Kawhi Leonard has made it very clear he wants to be a Laker. So the San Antonio Spurs either trade for him now or lose him and get nothing back. But as you said, they're being very stubborn, as they should be, because of a guy like Kawhi. Gosh, I got to tell you, man, if LeBron does it and gets a ring with LA, he moves up the GOAT list for me. And I've held on to Jordan being the GOAT and then Kobe being right underneath him. If LeBron does it in this Western Conference the way it's stacked now, it's hard to deny his greatness at this point.
Yeah, I think my first tweet was, "Boy, he wants the Warriors early. He just wants that out the way." Yeah, and just imagine, like, we could re-see the Celtics and Lakers rivalry reborn with Kyrie Irving on one side, LeBron on the other. Who could have thought that 3 years ago?
How much fun is that going to be, right?
You mentioned it. I think the big thing he's doing, he's putting all this faith in Magic Johnson, Rob Pelinka. Hey, I know you guys aren't ready now. I'm going to sign up. You work your magic, literally, figuratively, and we'll see what we do there. Now, I'm not sure about what they did right now. If I'm LeBron, I'm sitting there and I'm going, all right, you do your magic. I'm going to go on a little longer vacay. And the first thing I see is Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, good role player, 12 mil. I guess apparently he's a clutch client too, so maybe he was part of the deal. Lance Stevenson and JaVale McGee. I mean, what are the odds we're going to see one of the all-time Shaqtin' moments with both of those guys on the floor. Obviously, the talent's not enough to win, but
no.
I mean, what's your expectation for this first year? Let's say this roster is largely unchanged. What's a reasonable expectation? I mean, is getting to the second round and getting bounced by the Rockets or Warriors most likely? That sounds about right to me. What's your expectation on the first year?
First of all, isn't it great how LeBron says, "You want me? I am not playing against Lance. I am tired of playing against him. Go get him." JaVale McGee, for all of his famous Shaqtin' moments, can be the only guy in the locker room look at LeBron and say, "Hey, remember that time I swept you?" And but overall, I think it's very, very reasonable to expect this team to fight for a 6 through 8 spot.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a work in progress. We'll see what happens. They obviously need to add a lot more 3-point shooting firepower. I was taking a look at their projected starting five. Let me pull this up.
This is how I see it. Lonzo at the 1. You have LeBron at the 2 or 3, and then you can insert Brandon or Kuzma opposite him. You have Julius at the 4. JaVale can honestly start on this team because it's JaVale McGee. He's athletic, he's long, and if you tell him just to focus on 2 or 3 things, he'll be just fine. But even in positionless basketball, I see Julius at the 5, Kuzma at 4, or Kuzma or LeBron at 4. Then you have Brandon and Kuzma at 2 and 3, and you have Lonzo at 1. And KCP can come in, be that great relief. I think this is one of the more fun positionless basketball teams we could see.
I guess my greater point was absolutely, well, pretty much compared to the rest of the NBA, no 3-point shooting on that roster almost. So they're gonna have to put up a lot of 2s to win games. But hey,
a lot of and 1s.
A lot of and 1s too. We'll see what happens. As much as we make fun of Lance Stevenson and JaVale McGee, they're very useful in their roles, provided their heads in the game. Plus, last I checked, neither of them have forgotten to score during an NBA Finals game. So I guess that might be a slight upgrade. Now, I guess what's the worst case scenario? I'm imagining a scenario where, the money is pretty much divvied out. You're not going to grab a DeMarcus Cousins on the cheap or something like that, which I saw some people float out there.
Yeah.
You keep the money open for Kawhi next year. But let's say worst case scenario, the Spurs keep him or the Spurs trade him. I can see him going to Philly or Boston, enjoying a lot of success and saying, you know what? It's not too bad out here. We made it pretty deep. It was just my first year. All these young guys on either squad, pick either one, are getting younger. Maybe I'll sign a 3-4 year deal, stick around a little longer. And then the Lakers are, sort of all of a sudden become just the middle of the pack Western Conference team. Could this be like a Cavs West at the end of the day? We could be looking back 3-4 years from now saying, wow, we just wasted 3-4 years in Los Angeles because they, once again, just like Cleveland, they're obviously better than Cleveland, but unless Kuzma, Ingram, Ball develop into an all-star level player, I think we could see Cavs West out there in the worst case scenario.
I think that's actually great because Terrence Ross laughed and was said on Twitter, like, LeBron just joined Cavs in the West, which I thought was great. Worst case.
Terrence Ross reads my Twitter and like copies and pastes it?
Yeah, he got you, man. He beat you to the punch. So I think the worst case scenario is that LeBron is also going to be, 37 at the end of this deal. So his body, I think the worst case scenario is he suffers a really bad injury year 2 into this after the success of year 1. And yeah, it's one of those things where, like, if LeBron doesn't get past the Western Conference Finals, can you really call this a success? Can you? And then the comparisons to Kobe and MJ get even harsher for LeBron. Like, hey, you wanted this. You wanted this spotlight out in the Western Conference, and you couldn't even deliver then. So I'm also really afraid that, quote, GM LeBron is going to come out, and he's going to get a bunch of guys who are great, like in 05.
You talked about him being a GM. I remember he was on ESPN saying, hey, I'm the guy that said don't trade Kyrie Irving, and they did it anyway. And looking back at the Cavaliers, the day they traded Kyrie Irving, is that pretty much the day they lost LeBron? LeBron said, don't do it. They did it anyway.
You actually made a phone call and said, I don't want this trade to happen. Yeah. Ownership decided to make the trade anyway.
If you kept Kyrie, just force them to stay together. If LeBron still leaves, then Kyrie, maybe he actually stays because he gets his own team. If LeBron stays and Kyrie really wants out, well, then you let Kyrie go. Now they end up with neither guy. when you look back, is the day they traded Kyrie pretty much the day they lost LeBron? Because then they just had nothing around him, and he looked around and said, "You know what? I'm not okay with this anymore."
I would definitely say that was the day. Kyrie, losing him, we saw how much LeBron missed him because he had to play so many minutes. And the Jordan Clarkson, Larry Nance acquisitions were all like, okay, please be a little happy with this, LeBron. That was never going to keep him there. I don't understand how you lose LeBron twice and lose Uncle Drew. Dan Gilbert, what is happening?
Dan Gilbert did release, unlike last
Let's
time,
be honest,
a very classy statement, which obviously he told some PR person, "Hey,
exactly. Let's be real about this. That was not Dan Gilbert. That was him saying, "Look, I messed this up once because I made the LeBron fathead 17, 30 or something." You were reminding him of Benedict Arnold, and it's like, okay, look, Dan, put the phone down. We got this.
If you're a Cavs fan this morning, if I'm a Cavs fan, which obviously I'm not. Although, being a Knicks fan, we actually somehow enjoyed less winning in the last 20, 30 years. But if you're a Cavs fan, you know what? I think I'm okay with it. No surprise this time. I've seen this movie before.
Right.
He promised a title, which was the big thing. He delivered his second year there. He brought you to the finals every single year. At this point, I think, you were talking about relationships. I think this is kind of like the girl you dated, your high school sweetheart, all of a sudden gets some unbelievable opportunity in Europe. And says, you know what? I know you can't leave your job, but I got to go get this, see how this turns out. And, we'll try this long distance thing. And you got to let her go and be happy. That's kind of how I feel with the Cavs fan LeBron. He came back. He did what he said he'd do. He wasn't going to do it again, not with this roster, not anytime soon, it doesn't look like. So he went off to chase his dream. And I think you should be happy for him.
I totally agree. It's still painful. It's still got to be painful, a little painful. Not everyone's. It's not the typical handshake. Thank you so much for everything you did, LeBron. You got to be a little hurt. I mean, just because you're not mad at LeBron, you're more mad at the management. And I think this is going to be one of the few times where you can legitimately be mad at the management and not at the player who's leaving. Colin Sexton is I think that was a smart pick. You just got to be. Hello, darkness, my old friend kind of mentality. Like, yep, this happened again.
Just go to NBADraft.net, go to Draft Express very often. Look at some of the young prospects because you got a great shot on them next year. All right, any other general points you want to make before I move on to 5 true-false questions?
It's still weird, and it's going to take some time to see LeBron in the purple and gold. And I think in general, in those situations, basketball is better when the Lakers and Celtics are good. And I think this is going to be a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah, it's just going to be so strange. I mean, it's hard to compare to any other sport, but it's like, you pick the best player in baseball, whether it's right. Bryce Harper or Mike Trout, and put him in a Yankee uniform. It's like, whoa, wait, what?
No, it's a different ball game if Mike Trout is wearing a Yankee uniform or Bryce Harper is wearing a Yankee uniform. Aaron Judge, if he was, he'd be a really great star if he played for the Royals. But because he wears a Yankee uniform, it's different. So, yeah, it's one of those things. LeBron in the purple and gold. I'm kind of interested to see what number he'll wear. I don't know if it'll be 23 or 6 or just something else because, again, you look up in the rafters, there are only so many choices you have left.
Let's move on to some true-false questions. I read a statement. You give me a true or a false and, a couple sentences behind that. True-false. LeBron wins a championship. As a Laker it doesn't have to be in this contract. Just as a Laker, LeBron wins a championship.
I say true. The guy is undeniably the best talent we have in the modern game. He changes everything. So I definitely see LeBron helping the Lakers win number 17.
Well, I guess this kind of knocks this next one out of the park. LeBron wins a championship before Cleveland makes the playoffs.
It is the Eastern Conference.
500 gets you in the pack.
There you go. I'm as constructed right now with Colin Sexton on that roster and J.R. Smith still playing NBA basketball. I say true.
All right. That means you know what? He might win a championship 10 years from now, and that might still be true. True, false. LeBron James will win an MVP as a Laker.
Ooh, that'll be tough. It's honestly LeBron's award to lose every single year. It's hard to bet against LeBron. I'll say true.
If he gets him to the 1 seed, of course, I think the season he'd put in to even make that happen, they'd give it to him. Even as a 2, I could still see it only because Durant and Steph are on the same team, take credit away from each other.
I'll say this. If he can help the Lakers beat or win the majority of games against the Warriors, maybe sweep the Thunder, and at least split a series with the Houston Rockets, I think he can do it.
I think he's due because it's one of those awards where you just don't want to give it to the same guy every year. So when you should win it, they'll just go with someone else. It's not like baseball where Alex Rodriguez can finish in last place and dink 50-some home runs and still win the title. You can average 35 a game, but if your team's bottom of the barrel, 35 points a game, that's not winning you MVP.
And last point, I mean, let's be honest. We take LeBron off Cleveland, they're fighting for a top 5 draft pick. You take Harden off the floor, CP3 could help run that team a little bit, but James Harden had such a great year. So,
and you take away CP3, they still beat the Warriors. Oh no, actually no, they almost did, but they didn't get it
really,
done.
Rob? Really?
that was a tough one to swallow. Oh boy,
you're a Knicks fan. Okay.
The best news I get is, our relationship with Porzingis might be repaired now. Oh great, that's the best news I've gotten. I don't know how long. All right, fourth one. LeBron James will step on the court again as a Cavalier. True, false?
For what? For a 1-day contract so they can retire his number.
I don't think it's unreasonable. If he wins, let's say 2 titles out of the 4 years, let's say he sticks around 4 years, I could see him saying, you know what? I got 2 years left in the game, 1, 2. Maybe I'll go back to Cleveland, try to put on a show for the hometown fans for a year or 2, and then call it a career.
If Cleveland drafts LeBron James Jr., then yes. I'm going to go false, though.
And that's a perfect segue to my very last question. LeBron, true, false? LeBron James will throw an alley-oop pass to LeBron James Jr. or vice versa in an NBA game.
In an NBA Summer League game, yes.
I'll
be honest. Yes, I think it's if there's anyone who could beat the hands of time, it's definitely LeBron. I think to see kind of a Griffey, like Ken Griffey Sr. and Jr. situation, I won't lie, I'd want to see it. So I think, why not? True.
Because LeBron James Jr. is 13 years old.
Okay.
So 5 years gets him to 18 if they change the rules. 6 if they don't. He spends a year in college. 5-6 years, LeBron will be what's he now? He's 34, I think, right now. LeBron James.
33, turning 34.
All right, so he'll be
40.
38, 39, maybe 40, depending on how many years. Maybe he's not a one and done kid. We'll see what happens. 40,
he'll be a one and done kid. Come on.
Yeah, let's say 40 years old. I'm sure the tires will still be spinning somewhat, and some team will be more than happy to sign him. This is LeVar Ball's fantasy. Just put
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for at least bringing LeVar up. We are getting LeVar Ball against LeBron. That is the most exciting part for me. I would love to see in this whole entire time just the drama between LeVar Ball and LeBron James. See, I told you Lonzo would make LeBron better.
All right. In the meantime, I'm sure we're all looking forward to NBA Summer League. But
actually, I am.
We'll see how the rookies look. The Knicks got Kevin Knox, who
there you go.
I'd rather have Michael Porter because I like swinging for home runs. I don't think we need singles or doubles at this point when it happens. And I'm sure we'll see each other again, Rex, before the season starts. It starts getting going. Once we see what the Lakers do, it's going to be very exciting. We could be talking about an entirely different Laker team 3-4 months from now. We'll see what happens. We'll see you next time on the Fast Break. Peace. We're out of here.